Today, I can't wait to show you a place located right here in the middle of our map. We are headed to the heart of India. And India is one of the most fascinating places. I think a lot of the work in India easily rivals what you find in places like Egypt. I will have lots of videos coming up on a lot of these different areas. Today, I want to focus in on a site called Hampi, right here in the middle, kind of southern region of India. And let's zoom in here. We have two areas, both of which I could really spend a lot of time on. I believe this more northern section here in the heart of Hampi is a little bit more well known. That's not what I want to focus on right now. Let's go south to this other collection of ruins. Again, zoom out one more time so you can see, if you want to follow along, you can see exactly where we're at here. And before we get all the way in there, I just want to take a look a little bit at the landscape and the elevation of this particular area. Clearly it appears to be quite flat. We got some mountains in the distance. Get that back to true north there, and let's take a look. There are a ton of different sites and locations here. They call them temples, palaces, baths, ruins, all types of different names for locations here. And you can see the extent of rooms, buildings, walls, big long paths, or potentially just the walls between these two sections. And man, it just really keeps on going. Elephant stables, guard's house. So let's get down and take a look at some of these sites. What really draws my attention, as it usually does, is some of these walls that we're going to go look at, and how remarkable some of these walls here are. So let's drop down. Fortunately, we've got quite a few Google Maps that we can follow around. Let's drop over here to this palace. And you can see there's not a whole lot left of this said palace, besides kind of the foundation work here. A lot of it looks like this. There are buildings that we'll see that are still intact. I mean, a lot of this is really become ruins for sure. And as you'll see, these big walls that are probably, still upwards of 20 feet in some places, that are still standing, are some of that very, very signature polygonal stonework. So let's go see if we can get a little bit closer to these walls to check them out. This wall right along here that I've bookmarked is a nice one. And yep, sure enough, look at this. This wall right here, this rivals some of the stonework that you would find in places like Peru. And look at this. I like how the bottom, you get these big blocks. They do get smaller and smaller as you kind of get up towards the top there. But man, look at some of the just absolutely irregular shapes of some of these blocks here. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides there just on its one face. The one next to it has that kind of notch trimmed out of it. That you'll see quite a bit. The order in which these stones were laid down, we have no idea. Notice some holes down in the bottom down there. Yeah, the order in which these stones were laid it's every angle that you look at the building and construction process of these is just such a true mystery. We have no idea how these walls were made, really at all. We don't know how the blocks were cut. Were they cut prior to bringing them to the wall? Were they even cut at all? Did they lay down the first row of blocks first and then come back and cut out this section in order to lay this one on top? Wouldn't it be easier to, if you already laid these two blocks down, let's pretend this block right here was originally a square block like that, well, why wouldn't you do it the other way? Wouldn't it be easier if this block's already setting down here? Wouldn't it be easier to put this one on top of it and then cut out this notch from this block instead? I guess it wouldn't matter, but why? So many questions. I can't answer on that, but the more you really think about how difficult it is to do this, and then you have these reliefs that are cut into a lot of them, and some actually come out. Let me see if I can get a little bit further down this wall over here. Here we go. Here's a good example of one that's actually a relief that's coming out, I believe, unless it's doing an optical illusion on me, but I believe that it's actually sticking out of the sun. You can see a shadow here underneath of it. So yes. And here's as fascinating as that. Looks like a wave, water wave, a snake. I don't know what that is. Someone carrying something there. Here's another one of some more figures. Man, there's just so many different styles of work here as well. So you have example one, and then just off to the side, you get down here and these kind of edge pieces where it looks like they almost went over a router on the edge. They almost look like they have like a finished contours to them. And then on top of that, you get this kind of more crude stone and mortar work. And yeah, same here. You get a combination of multiple different styles. Yeah, this place has to have just an unbelievable amount of history. Probably multiple civilizations that inherited this at one point in time. And we're just looking at one wall here of a huge complex. I'm just going to kind of drop us into a random location. Let's go over here. Here we go. This is kind of fun. Lots of different reliefs, animals, horses, elephants. Just, man, the world is just so full of history and legends, and I mean, there's got to be millions of these all throughout India. I commend anyone who becomes an expert in the field of carvings and hieroglyphs. It's just an overwhelming amount of information and an overwhelming number of sites. Let's wrap our way around here. Check out a new location here. This looks to be pretty well, at least from above, pretty well intact. Let's see if we can drop us down on top of this structure, which I believe actually goes down into the earth. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And this is in phenomenal shape. Not a lot of signs of wear on these blocks. They're all edges, very, very square cut, very clean. I don't know the material of this. And then we also see water in here. Water loves to break things down. Oh, we have a couple of pillars over here. Are there any more of those? No, but then what is this? I've yet to see. Kind of looks like, it doesn't look like, this looks, wow, that is cool. We're looking straight up at what appears to be an aqueduct, and it looks like we have a section of it that's pouring straight into this. Let's go up there and see. That's going to the north of our current location. It looks like it's pouring into here. So is this some type of water storage pool? And then you have all these different kind of terraces and levels to this. This is pretty cool. I like this. Let's go check out that. I want to see if this is actually overhanging into this. That's me just to the north side of our current location. Okay, yeah, you can see it right there. Let's go up to here. Yeah, that is cool. I have not seen this before. This is all one big piece of stone, as are all of these. Oh man, you could get lost just following the original, where that's coming from. Where's that side going? If you were to fill this thing up with water, man, did he have some kind of gate over here to open and close this when you wanted to? Oh, those pillars are actually supporting a few more on that side. And man, that is cool. I have checked out the site a couple times and I had not seen this aqueduct before. I want to trace how far back we can find where this goes. Oh, wow. Okay. So we were over here. Here's the section that sticks out into the pool. And then we can see it fall here. It looks like it actually goes past this wall. Yeah. And then you see some sections potentially over here. Do we have any good shots? Not at all. I think it goes past this first wall at least. Yeah, not much to tell from there. If you like checking out some of these places, please like, comment, subscribe. I would love to get your feedback. As always, please drop down the comments below. Any new locations, I love coming across new places and exploring them just like this. This is why I started this channel, is to share some of this. And the more you look at these locations, the more you realize that there's a whole lot more that was going on here than just meets the eye of them being, an ancient temple or an ancient tomb. So many of these sites have been repurposed, have very vague origins. Many of them, if not most of them, the history was lost. No people lived there for a long time, and then they become discovered, and a story or narrative about the history of the locations is told, and that becomes fact. Although it's just a best educated guess, because they were abandoned, and the people that lived there aren't able to tell their original story. And so a lot of times, just the first person to discover these sites, they'll give their interpretation of what they found, or they'll hear a local legend from, the now natives that live there, and whatever that legend is or how they interpret it becomes the facts that get put into textbooks, but there is a lot of times just truly no actual evidence or foundation for this. Let's go north up here to this Hazara Rama Temple. Ooh, this looks cool. Man, look at these pillars here. So intricate. Ooh. This reminds me of, like, if you guys are playing those horror video games, you know, walking through dark temples. That would be if anybody knows of it, a scary game that involves any kind of ancient temples, I would be more than happy to try that out. Here we go. Look at this wall right here. Just the sheer size of some of these stones here. We're talking multiple ton stones all around. And again, this is just barely scratching the surface of this complex here. Haven't even really kind of gone into the north section here, which I believe is a little bit more well known. I'll pop in just a little bit to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, ancient Hindu temple. Huge stonework again. And even these big stones have the very telltale signs of that polygonal stonework. Making these cuts into these blocks is so much more difficult than it is just to lay them square and lay them flat. So why this was done, we have no idea. And why it was done on every corner of the planet, we have no idea. Why every single civilization that did this at some point in time has now lost the ability to do this is beyond us. Look at this. They are filling in some of these gaps with these tiny little stones. Now, keep in mind, if this wall right here, so here's our height, here's our width. If the depth of these stones is, 2, 3, 4 feet deep, that means that this one little stone right here, I'm just throwing out some very rough educated numbers here. If this is, 6 inches tall by a foot wide, it could be 3 feet deep going in there. And a lot of times you'll find stones that are even a fraction of this, where they're just mere inches on the height and the width, but the depth could be 3 feet. So you have these very intricate blocks that are almost sometimes hidden within these big, larger ones. Here's pretty cool. Got a couple of fish here protruding out of that wall. A little bit different style there. I could easily spend hours, and I do, looking at some of these locations, because every little nook and corner just has its own unique story to tell about it. I haven't even began to dive into, the history and the myths and the legends of this. All I'm really focusing on in this series of videos is just to look at the stonework of these. And again, I could do this for hours, but please comment down below. Let me know where you'd like me to explore next. I find this to be truly fascinating. Until next time.